Hey guys, Drudder here. It's September the 26th, 2013, and I'm just outside of the Vancouver area, out in the farmlands, and as you can see, some of the corn has indeed not been harvested yet, and some has. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I am sitting outside my little garden patch here, and sitting in the sunlight. We've had a very mixed year. July was dry and hot here in the Vancouver area, and in fact the entire region, but the rest of the year has not been so good. But despite that, I'm sitting out here in the sunshine and enjoying it, as it's almost October here, having a nice sunny afternoon, and just sitting outside my garden. So I thought I would share that moment with you, and this is actually the moment that gardener, at least myself, I won't speak for all gardeners, but this is the moment we wait for, and it's that harvest moment, and everything is about getting to this point. So these are not ripe yet, but they're going to ripen inside, so, and I can only try and hang on to this with one hand. So there we go. Successful harvest. It's what we gardeners are after, and this is it. So with nothing but a little know-how, some heirloom seeds, absolutely no pesticides, no fungicides, no insecticides, no herbicides, no fertilizers of any kind, just kitchen scraps for compost, and a wee bit of expertise, and I have my seeds back for next year. Not just the seeds back, but I also have a little bit of fruit to enjoy as well. Take a couple more off here. Take this one. Kind of awkward, one hand holding a camera. It's not a lot. Obviously you could get this amount of tomatoes from the local store for, you know, a few bucks. That's not the point. I'm not trying to save on my grocery bill. What I am after here, and what I hope other people are after too with heirloom gardening, is to learn, and the experience that I got out of this is worth far more than, you know, a few bucks worth of tomatoes. That's not it. What this now means for me is, even with a bad year of growing, poor weather, 3-month delay in getting started this year because I had a catastrophic failure where I lost all my seeds about 3 months into the season, except for a few backup seeds which I always keep, luckily, and I was able to turn those into, well, my next year's seeds, and enough seeds for other people as well. So I will be doing some more seed sharing probably in January or so. So if you're interested in some of my seeds, you can check them out then. Okay, there we go. These are the, well, I call them orange organics. I don't know what the actual name is, but as they are heirloom seeds, and they are different every year because you get different combinations of the traits coming through and stuff. I guess you can make up a new name for them every year. So I call these ones orange organics. They're kind of a bell-shaped, paste-shaped, cherry-sized tomato, and I really like them. Been growing those for, I think, 4 years now. And so those are going to go and get ripened up in there, and I'll just show you some that I put into the newspaper about 3 or 4 days ago. These are the Sweet 100 ones, and as you can see, they're just spontaneously changing color and ripening. So I'm going to be able to get my seeds out of those any day now. Alright, the other side of the video, as you may have guessed by the title, doesn't have anything to do with tomatoes. It's just a series of clips and little bits of information that I've sort of had rolling around in the back of my head for a few weeks now in relation to current events, and I'll introduce it kind of with an analogy of a puzzle, right? A puzzle, and the completed puzzle being sort of a completed picture of what's going on. I have a few puzzle pieces, I guess you could say, and I don't even know if these puzzle pieces are for the same puzzle, and if they are, the puzzle's certainly not an easy one to put together. There's not just 100 or 500 pieces. It's probably, you know, a 5,000 or 10,000 piece puzzle. So I may have a couple little bits of information here, and they might be sort of for the same puzzle. It seems to be all related, but I don't really know, and I'm just going to present them to you and throw them out there. You may have seen these clips or this information, or you may have seen part of it anyway. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen all of it, the links are down below. And I do think this is something that might be important to look at. So I'll play you the clips and we'll see what you think.
We're going to start with Iraq, and then we're going to move to Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran.
Okay, if those words don't ring a bell, those are all the countries that the U.S. has been either invading or changing the governments forcefully in over the past, I don't know, 10 years or so. They were trying to get it done in 5 years apparently, but it didn't happen. Now I'll go to 3 minutes and 52 seconds here, right about there. Here's a bit more.
And this is 1991. I said, Mr. Secretary, you must be pretty happy with the performance of the troops in Desert Storm. And he said...
This is General Wesley Clark. I guess he was essentially in charge of the U.S. military before he retired. U.S. 4-star general. I'm not sure how much higher it can get than that, but this guy knew everybody and knew everything. And he is now retired, and he has been telling a few tales. And tales that are actually real. Anyway, we'll listen to the rest of this clip.
Well, yeah, he said, but not really. He said, because the truth is we should have gotten rid of Saddam Hussein, and we didn't. And this was just after the Shia uprising in March of '91, which we had provoked, and then we kept our troops on the sidelines and didn't intervene. And he said, but one thing we did learn, he said, we learned that we can use our military in the region, in the Middle East, and the Soviets won't stop us. He said, and we've got about 5 or 10 years to clean up those old Soviet client regimes. Syria, Iran, Iraq, before the next great superpower comes on to challenge us. And it was like, you know, I'm coming out of the...
Okay, so you can look at the whole clip down below, but I think you can see how some of what he's talking about has been coming true over the past little while. And I think that the wars in the Middle East are really just a proxy for the war between the U.S. and Russia that has been waging for a long time now. It's mostly just a proxy war at this point, no direct attacks between the U.S. and Russia. But I don't think that that Cold War really ever went away. I think it's been festering, and I think that it's building up for something else coming. Like I said, I really don't have all the puzzle pieces. I have like 3 or so. So we'll just have to throw it out there and see what happens. But let's move on to the next clip.
This is my last election, basically. Yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and understand.
Okay, so this is my last election. After the election, I'll have more flexibility. And then he responds, I understand, I'll transmit this to Vladimir. So, which is Putin, of course. So, you know, this is a conversation that wasn't supposed to be caught. A little message from Obama to Putin, letting him know that he would have more political flexibility, be able to do more, push things further after he was re-elected. Because, of course, once you're re-elected, you have 4 years to do whatever the hell you want, which is exactly what he's doing right now. Now, if you haven't seen that clip before, that was the first time. I'll put the link down below, but that was the entire thing. You saw that whole thing there. And one more thing I just wanted to bring up is this. A major earthquake that happened in Pakistan a couple of days ago. And yeah, at least 300 people were killed. So it was a very potent earthquake. Apparently tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands lost their homes because homes there are not built the way they are in the West. So with a major earthquake like that, they haven't got the foundation they need to survive that. So they're homeless. So just huge numbers of people that have been affected by this, and it's terrible. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about here. I wanted to mention that something else happened in Pakistan, and it was just about 24 hours or so before the earthquake hit, and that is that 100 people were killed in a terrorist bombing in Pakistan. not a lot of people heard about this. And when I heard about it, I did some searches and had trouble coming up with anything, because the Pakistan earthquake, which happened at the same time or just right afterward, is coming up in all the searches. So you do, like, recent search for Pakistan and say bombing or explosion or whatever, and then you end up with all these hits for the earthquake. So it's kind of buried. But what happened was 100 people were killed. In fact, there were 100 Christians that were killed at a church in Pakistan. And Christians there are the minority, great minority. It's almost all Muslim, but the person or the people who took responsibility for the 100 deaths were Taliban in Pakistan. So the Taliban were angry at Obama for bombing their country with drones. And a lot of civilians have been killed in Pakistan over the past several years as the bombings just continue in that country. There's no war declared on them. We don't have any authorization to be bombing them. Yet we are, or at least the U.S. government is doing so. So the Taliban got angry at that and took it out on who they saw was, a target that they could get back at, which was 100 Christians within their own country. So it's kind of weird that this story has not been told. Let's see here, there it is. September 2013 Peshawar bombing. Peshawar, I guess, is a part of Pakistan. So I'll link that down below, but it's just kind of weird. You can't really find much about this. Usually when 100 people die in a bombing anywhere in the world, you'll hear about it. I mean, we have 4 or 5 people getting killed with a shotgun in the U.S., and you hear about that for weeks. So, aren't these people worthy of news? Even in international news sites, it's kind of hard to find. And when you do find it, it's sort of covered up by the whole earthquake that happened right afterward. So, yeah, the earthquake is a big one, and it was very devastating, and it deserves a lot of news. But I think that maybe we should also look at this bombing and see what the causes of that bombing were. It sounds like Obama has made more enemies overseas, and they are using that as a reason to blow up churches full of Christians to, try and get back at the West, I guess. So just another piece of the puzzle, and I'll leave it there, but let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon.
The situation is under control.